In 1974, Zimbabweans, then Rhodesians, were forcibly taken from their homes and herded into protected villages, also known as keeps. The move, purportedly for the people's protection, was the cause of great resentment and anger. The Rhodesian government provided transport and basic amenities such as water, but the people were not fooled. They had been relocated by force.
It's a real disaster.
What's happening?
We've been chased from this place.
Churu Farm was owned by Ndabaningi Sithole, a founder member of the original Zanu party, but by now in fierce opposition to government.
When the police came, we were just forced to push out.
Thousands of people were given only hours to leave their homes, despite a court order in their favor.
They were abusing people.
What did they do?
They said you must take all your belongings within 30 minutes' time.
It is acting illegally. I mean, no bully acts legally. They're just being bullies, that's all.
Many spent weeks living with their possessions on the side of the road, with nowhere else to go. In May 2005, 2 months after the hotly disputed parliamentary elections, in which almost 100% of urban seats were retained by the opposition MDC, the ZANU-PF government has embarked on what it calls a clean-up campaign, named Operation Murambatsvina. The first target was inner-city vendors. All marketplaces, even those officially designated as such, have disappeared in piles of rubble. Murambatsvina is countrywide.
Kade bediliza ngamasotsha sibile lizwe lamapholisa kakhulu amapholisa nxa ukuthi kuyabuzakala ukuthi kade kwenze njani amakhansila bayehluleka bathi ayisilo hlelo lwabo lolu hlelo lukahulumende kanye lawo amapholisa futhi ayakutsho ukuthi bona babuya kusemthethweni bavela kuhulumende.
Uma benthengisa nje ama-vegetable konke amatamatisi kwenye nje bengodinto zonke ezisemakethe.
Bakufice izinto zonke lezo zikhona.
Yebo bafice zikhona abanthathele.
Bathethe izinto ezingaba ngenza emalini.
Izinto ade zikhona sezinge-200,000.
Over 20,000 vendors have been arrested, many of them beaten, even those with valid permits. Goods are forfeit to the state, countless millions of dollars worth.
These vendors, for instance, they had license from the city council. The totally destroyed. I mean, it really causes so much anger, so much unhappiness. It is these people, this was their livelihood.
Even landmark trading centers, such as Mbare's Siyaso market, established as long ago as most people can remember, have been dismantled and razed to the ground. Traders have salvaged what they can, as fast as they can. In all areas, wherever there is evidence of small-scale business and trade, it is demolished and destroyed. Zimbabwe has an unemployment rate of 80%, The majority, therefore, were surviving in the informal sector. A week after the onslaught began, the campaign has moved to small dwellings, so-called illegal structures, many of them long-established homes.
When I built this cottage, it was legal. It was not illegal, but it was legal because when Zanu PF were campaigning, they said the government has got no money. Anyone who has got a space to his own house can build some cottages for the people to survive because government has got no money to build houses for the people.
Zimbabweans are on the move.
Mugare wemuno too long. But what happened, I never know kuti zvinhu zvakarongwa sei. Kuda kuti vanhu vakapigwa organization unzi titame within a short period of time tingagona zvedu kunge takatama. Asi nekuti zvinhu zvatakafutwa kuti sudden death ungonzi zvinhu takutodaidai taudadai saka tichamboziva kuti chokwadi chacho chaicho zvatofanira kunge tichiita chacho chaizvo ndezvipi chaipo chaizvo.
The coldest month of the year, thousands are on the streets with nowhere to go. Hatcliffe Extension is also flattened. Ironically, it is where many former residents of Churu Farm were put by government in the early 90s.
We were asked in 1995 to try and help out with some of these people who were resettled, to help from a medical point and with some of the children. We had a creche for 180 little ones, orphans and vulnerable children. Some of them were ill themselves, most of them were orphans. We also had a clinic once a week where we saw between 80 and 160 sick people, and 105 of those were on antiretroviral treatment. I got a call on Sunday morning saying the police had arrived and that all structures in Hatcliffe Extension had to be demolished within 24 hours. So I couldn't quite believe it because I knew most of the people there were legal and they were paying rent to the municipality and they had been settled there on a temporary basis, but they were put there by government.
Zanu PF presidential candidate Comrade Robert Mugabe today rounded up his campaign rally for Harare province with a rally at Hatcliffe Extension where 6,000 housing stands were allocated to individuals and cooperatives. More from our news teams.
Part of the 6,600 residential stands were distributed to 5 housing cooperatives based in Hatcliffe. The stands have since been serviced by government and ready for occupation. The President, Comrade Robert Mugabe, later donated $1 million towards the construction of a school.
So we got there at 7:30, and to my horror, the whole area was absolutely devastated. There was people all over the place. There was smoke coming up from where some things had been burned. So we started demolishing that with the people, and it was one of the most painful experiences I've ever experienced. And I was here during the liberation struggle, and I never thought I would see the day when this was happening to Zimbabweans.
After 10 days of demolition, Hatcliffe Extension was burnt to the ground. The few remaining families who either had no money to transport their property or were vainly hoping for a reprieve, are being moved to New Caledonia Farm on the other side of town. It is virgin bush. There is no water, no sanitation, no schools, clinics or roads, not even the wooden huts they were forced to demolish in Hatcliffe.
But by force. Asi atizimo sayatakaita asitozoti masenzo atakatapuwa ndebe wakatorola paiginya.
The story of Hatcliffe is being replicated countrywide. Killarney in Bulawayo, for 20 years home to the poor, is demolished and burnt.
Yiko kuno kwethu la kuzofika abantu futhi.
The Killarney people are also moving, but only thanks to a group of churches who have offered them temporary shelter. Some don't want to leave what has been home for as long as they can remember. Government has offered no alternative. The church is a welcome stopover. What happens next is anyone's guess. No alternative either in Beitbridge. Nor in Ngozi mine settlement.
Lasting 3 weeks.
Not even for 3-week-old babies. They too sleep in the open, the discarded trash of Zimbabwe. Workers in the once flourishing tourist town at the Victoria Falls were encouraged by City Council to build their own houses. Now they are ordered to knock them down, again with no alternative offered.
I needed to come on Tuesday, but there was no transport because they had closed. There were roadblocks all the way. So I couldn't manage. Then I came on Wednesday, found all my things. I'm missing my birth certificate, identity for my wife, my passport forms, and all other things. I can't find my things. It's bad, it has disturbed my mind, everything. I'm like a nanny starter now. I have nowhere to go.
Some demolished areas were home to the poorest of the poor. But Operation Murambatsvina's definition of trash extends far beyond shacks. Housing cooperatives, all built with apparent government approval, in the absence of a government housing scheme, have also been laid to waste. All supervised, and in some cases implemented by large numbers of heavily armed police and army.
The situation is just terrible. People are destroying their cabins, their cottages. People are lining outside the streets, filing their whatever they bought, in the past. And people are really angry. They are Hopeless, directionless. They don't even know what to do.
But chinotishambisa ndechekuti the government, I don't know the reason why yakaunza muno polling station yechiti vanhu vavhote, yechiti zvine zvakagadzirwa nehurumende kuti ine yakuzikanwa nehurumende kuti yakagadzirwa zviri kunzi kuti pamutemo. But to my surprise now, izvozvo vanhu vese vari kudestroyiwa vachiputsirwa dzimba dzavo nezvinhu zvavo. Vabereki voenda kupi, tienda kundogara kupi, tichaita sei? Muno munyika yese people tiri kukraya kwavabereki nekumusha, izvozvo vanhu vese vari kutambudzika. Saka tichadzira tienda kupi?
Inini zviri kunyanya kundorwadza ndezvokuti panapa ndinodanga business nanchita panapa ndoranga richiponesawo mhuri yangu. Saka iyo zvinezvi tipaze zvotaita zvatotinesa manje kuti tingaite sei.
Ndanzwa mwoyo wangu uchitambura nezvakaitika izvi. Kana kuri kuti zvinezvi zvichiitika kudai izvi togara kupi mukati menyika iri kurwadza kudai. Achaziva chekuita izvi. Tinotorara nenzara nekufunga. Izvino hatina baba, hatina ani watinogona kutaurira. Tiri vanhu tiringodzungaira pekuenda chaipo hatina. Hama yangu iri kutambudzika. Izvozvo chete.
Zimbabwe is on the move. Zimbabwe is on the move, but where to, no one is sure.
Now they want to force people to go to the rural area so that they may starve there. As far as I'm concerned, this government has gone so far. I'm so angry myself that I'm ready to stand before a gun and be shot.
Hello, my name is Angus Martens. I'm the Secretariat of the Arcadia Residents and Ratepayers Association of Arcadia Harare Zimbabwe. As you have seen that the government has carried out its Operation Cleanup campaign on residents in different suburbs of Harare, we witness gross human rights violations against defenseless people in towns and cities across Zimbabwe. People are terrified to challenge this illegal action by government in the courts of law, simply for fear of being victimized and retribution. Because government has chosen to take a very hard action against most innocent people today. We also see property rights have been abused. We see the right to shelter has been violated. Livelihoods have been destroyed, all in the name of political retribution by government. We simply advocate here in Zimbabwe for the setting up of a Human Rights Commission to investigate crimes against humanity, against those crimes government has instituted against its people. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bertram Tabbett. I'm the chairperson of the Arcadia Residents and Ratepayers Association based in Harare, Zimbabwe. What we are about to see is shocking and horrific at the manner in which a government has turned its might, its brute force against innocent, law-abiding citizens and residents of the city of Harare. We have done this tape as a way of having evidence of the shocking brutality and devastation that has been wreaked in people's lives. Properties destroyed, human rights violated, livelihoods taken away from amongst the poorest and the most vulnerable groups living amongst our society. It's a disaster of unprecedented proportions as people, ordinary citizens, ordinary men and women, struggling to make ends meet in the city of Harare, and indeed in cities all across the nation, which have faced this brute force in the name of Operation Murambatsvina, also known as Operation Restore Order, also known as driving out the filth. We believe that the action taken by government, this heinous crime against people, whose only fault was to vote against the government in the cities across this land. You will see the fear, the terror, and quite frankly, the bewilderment of people who simply cannot understand why a government which is supposed to protect the interests and rights of people, coupled together with the military and other law enforcement agency arms, intimidating, threatening, and using force, unnecessary force, against the aged, the young, men, women, grandmothers, and children in some instances. In this attack against the people's dignity and right to have shelter. Thank you.
I'm Mrs. D'Souza. I'm 67 years old. I'm a widow. I have no income. I don't get a pension or anything. I built myself 2 little rooms here at the back to get some money for me to support myself. And they came in and they told me to destroy everything. I want everything destroyed. So now I have no income at all. That's it.
Who's there?
The police, and they told me that it was a government issue. and we had to destroy everything.
How do you feel about this?
How can we feel? Even if we feel pain and everything, there's nothing we can do about it at this stage in time. There's nothing we can do. Just got to battle it alone. I was depending on that. I was depending on my tuck shop. I was depending on selling vegetables outside. They told us to stop all that. I was doing some sewing inside. They told us to stop that as well. They said we're not allowed to do any businesses in our homes. Our homes are our homes. We're not allowed to do any business in them because that's our homes. What can we do? Next door, they told the same thing. Broke everything up. We still got to clear up and everything. They've broken my tuck shop down. They said to me I must break it down. I've got a child that I've got to support, a young boy that I'm looking after. I'm fostering him. I've got to pay his school fees. I've got to buy his clothes and everything. Uniforms, school fees, uniforms. I've got to feed him and all. I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. I've got a little few chickens there that I've been using for eggs and things like that to sell as well. They've told us that we've got to destroy that as well.
This is the tuck shop.
That's the tuck shop. That was what's left of the tuck shop. And that's all these people's clothes and things, wardrobes, everything that were staying here with me. So they've got to come and collect this lot. So I don't know what's difficult. I don't know how we're going to live now with this little boy that I've got to support. I'm terrified also because they said they're coming back with the army to come and we've got to clear up all this mess, and they're coming with the army. We've got to have all this mess cleared up before when the army comes here. So I'm terrified. I don't know what to do, where to turn. United Nations are gone, so we were depending on them to do something for us. So now there's nothing we can. We just live in fear all the time of what's going to happen, because they said the army is coming in to check up on us.
Okay, let's start.
I'm a resident from Arcadia. I live in Arcadia. I put a structure for 5 rooms because I'm a widow. Plus my sister died. I'm looking after my sister's children, 3 children. And when the police come and intimidated me and tell me that I must break all the things, so I broke it down. But now I'm afraid I don't know where these 2 families which I was looking after is gone to. What else? Yeah, the police came and intimidated me. So now I'm looking after 3 children, my sister's children. Now I don't know how I'm going to look after them, and me, I'm a widow, I don't work.
Anything else that you want to say?
There's nothing that I can say. It's just bad, you know. It was too bad.
Now.
Okay, what can I really say? This thing has been something else, because over there, I had a cottage, my daughter and her son, and one of my grandchildren. And over there, I had a room, which the grandsons were in, just for the night. Because in the main house, of course, I've got others. And I've now had to squash these extra 6 people into the main house. And it's horrific. I don't know how I'm going to replace it, but I have to. But when, I don't know. I honestly don't. We weren't harassed, but we were told it's not legal, so we brought it down. We've saved what we can, but it isn't much. Because the actual building's going to cost us something. That's all I can really say, but...
Right, let's go.
Yeah, when I built this one, it was for a growing family and extra income for that growing family. Now, I can't meet my needs. I can't meet my children's needs. The children can't get any jobs, so they're all at home. And I've lost everything. I don't know where to start, where to go from here. It's all rubble, as you can see. At least they could have come and formalized things before asking us to destroy like this. I don't know. That's all I can say.
You take it. Then when these police people came, I said, you people, why are you breaking my tuck shop? Me, I got a license, I got a plan, I got a permit, I got a license. Then they said to me, we're not worried about those things you got. Us, we got told to just break all the tuck shops, because no more, we don't allow tuck shops anyway, by the houses. So, me, that was my life, doing my business, supporting my children, and my husband. My husband is not working also. That man was helping us. So now we don't know what we're going to do. What? Oh, so I went to see the... I went to see to Farad for complaint, said these people, they came and break my things. And they said to me, it's not us, it's police. So I went to police. Police, they said I must go and see the council. I went to the council, to the mayor. Then the mayor said, go and continue selling your things inside your yard. That was the end of the story. Then I said, for how long? They said, we'll tell you when they finish breaking, they're still breaking. They're not yet finished. We'll let you know, you can hear from the TV or you come and find out to his office, to mayor's office. And he gave me his address and his phone number.
Do you believe it?
There I can't say yes or no, I don't know. I got no answer there.
ndine vana vangu vanoda kuchengeta saka handizivi kuti ndovachengeta sei zvakatondishamisawo ndichingoona vachingouya ezvinoti akungoitira panotonhora pachando asi nenyaya yekuti hatina zvatingaite tiri
My income and all, it was all coming from this tuck shop. And I'm left. I mean, this was our capital, this was our income. So I don't know which step to take and I don't know what to depend on. Because it was a nightmare.
Did you have legal papers for this?
I had the legal documents. I had my permit, I had my plans, and I had my license. I just came from renewing my license. My license cost 862,000. You know, I had sacrificed even to raise money to renew that license and all that. And I had all my papers, but they wouldn't even look at my papers. They just told me straight out that they said that we are not looking at these papers here because why? As far as we're concerned, there's no tuck shops that are allowed in Arcadia. Though it was legal. This one was a legal tuck shop. It was a legal structure, of which I got the papers to back it up. It was a legal structure. But they wouldn't even look at the structure. They wouldn't even care to look at the structure. They won't even look. They won't look at the documents. They even told me straight out that we're not going to look at your papers, and we're not concerned about reading these papers, because as far as we're concerned, we're not allowing any tuck shops in Arcadia, even though this structure was a legal structure. And I got so many documents to back it up.
Okay. Thank you.
And they also slashed the log cabin. That's why I was storing my property in this log cabin. It was like we're using it as a store. And then they slashed it with the axe. So some of the parts there at the back, there's firewood. It's no thing from a log cabin, it's no firewood.
Okay. Can you talk?
Well, then, what must I say?
I'm disappointed that this has happened. These guys should have given me at least 3 months' notice and say, well, these people have to move. Now they got no way. Look, just look, they're sleeping, there's no window, no nothing. Huh? They're even going to get sick. So then what am I supposed to do? Is the city of Harare going to charge me now?
Atenda. Yeah. Yeah, pamoja. Come.
Come here.
Nasi yekuno.
And this lady's got twins also.
Nasi. Garapas. Nasi. Yakuno tinasi. Ele no yoga. Garapas.
But then it's not all of them that are living here. Let's come and put that little girlies that visit. These twins and her daughter. Set him up. It's what I like you. No, leave the people alone.
Just came and give us an hour notice, 1 hour notice. They just came at around 12 o'clock. And they said within an hour you're supposed to break all the houses. Then we were no longer having any option by that time anyway. We started to climb up the roof and bring down the cabin. You know, and these young kids started crying as well. So it's just a disappointing situation. We were not expecting our government to treat us that way anyway. We voted for it anyway, but the way what they did is so disappointing. We are not all that happy. Look at these old young kids, they are just angels. They are suffering. I don't think it's free and fair. We were expecting the president to try and stop this type of a situation. I think for the moment that's what I can simply say.
You can mention the furniture standing outside there now in the open.
This came here, and they told us to take the cottage down. So my son said, look, instead of you people knocking it down, we'll knock it down. So my son took the hammer and started bashing the place, knocking it down. And while he was knocking it down, the cops were standing here. He asked whose cottage it is. So my daughter said it was my brother's, and he gave it to me. So they took her name and she wanted, they wanted her ID, but she didn't have the ID on her, and she said she was going to look for it, but they didn't wait to look for it. Now we got all the furniture and everything outside, and I'm very upset about it. It's because it was my son had built it, and I had my son with his pregnant wife and a little daughter living in it. So if we didn't say they were going to bash it down, they were already going to bash it down, whether the furniture was out or not.
Also, I'm very upset about the whole thing because apparently he's also got my nephew. Curtis has a 1.5-year baby, plus his wife is pregnant, and they got no place to go. And
we had to take
very upset that it's got to come like this year, because now it looks like we haven't even got the money now to rebuild it again. We don't know what we're going to do.
I had to take my grandson and his pregnant wife and baby into the house, which is really full. My other son is sleeping on the floor in the lounge, and my nephew is sleeping on the couch, and we're all really bundled up inside. And I mean, My son couldn't sleep on the veranda, it's cold, so they were just all sleeping on the floor. And
we're very heartbroken that it's got to come to this stage. Because I mean, it's also a lot of money wasted, gone down. So if there's anybody that can hear our prayers, that if they can at least try and help us or sponsor us to get another one rebuilt, we will really appreciate anything. I mean, he left the cottage to me. I was thinking of moving it in with my two, but because of my nephew, he had nowhere to go. So I think it's only right I should try and get someone to hear our prayer that I would like to get it rebuilt,
as you
but
can
I've
see,
got no
everything
money.
is all scattered outside. And we have to also, now we haven't got the big job when we got to really scared that somebody can come just lift everything out here. We just have to keep our eye. Got the puppies, they do bark, and when they bark, I say to my children, when the puppies bark, don't ignore them. Just go and see who is there at the gate and in the yard. And that's what they do. So far, I thank the Heavenly Father that nobody's taken anything yet. But as I say, we got to keep alert. That's why we keep this little puppies. The big dog, well, it's gone, but the puppies, they do bark. When they hear anybody by the gate, they bark. That's all.
No. I'm a resident of Arcadia, a widow with 6 children and 8 grandchildren. We were told to be self-reliant, which I was, trying to be self-reliant, by sowing and compromising my home and my income. I built this structure here out of Jura wool, which plans were not required by City Council because there is no foundation. Now, the place has been destroyed and there's nothing I can do about it. I did not rent this out trying to make money. I was sowing to make ends meet. Oh.
Okay. This is the cottage that my sister and her husband built. It was actually a storeroom. And they paid actually quite a lot of money because they had just fitted all the window panes and the doors and stuff. And these guys just came in and they just started breaking it. I mean, that's not fair, you know? I mean, considering, you know, the money that they spent on it, you know? And, you know, we really sad about it. And yeah, they were supposed to be moving in, you know, when it was ready, you know? And, I mean, it's really out. I'm sorry. We're just not understanding what is happening. We're just confused. As we're standing here, we're just confused. This is how it's looking like at this point in time. Apparently, they're saying that we've got to get rid of the rubble. The rubble has to go. And they're going to charge us for the rubble to be taken away. So, I mean, I don't know where's the logic in that. I just don't know, you know. We're really, really worried at this point. They're coming soon, and we've got to get rid of all this rubble. I don't know how we're going to do that. I just don't know.
You can start when the police came.
When the police arrived and they told us to take our things out, and I tried to show them my plans, because I got plans, but they weren't stamped by the municipality. They said that they weren't proved. So we just said, oh, well, just give us time. And then they just came and they started saying we must take out our things, and it was just me and my
62-year-old
woman lady. And they started saying, take out your things, and we're giving you half an hour to break. I mean, how can we as women just break down when there's nobody around? Then
They swore, they used language.
They use language, and I was saying that you think we're special because you're from Arcadia and things like that. Horrible remarks. My mother is older than you, but she's breaking down my things, the things and all that. So we had to go and phone my son from work to come and break down here. Then they were also throwing all a lot of remarks that he smoked daka and what and what, saying that we colors, we got narrow and they want to fix us. That's why they left Arcadia for last. That's exactly how they were talking to us, and they really humiliated us because this is my property and I have bought it.
Making your home and
And they have still left us all homeless. There we all had to go into the main house. There's my little grandchildren. There's nothing. This is my little grandchild, she's only 5 years old. My son had to come from work. And this is my place. I've got papers to prove I have bought this place. And they intervened in our privacy. We thought they were just doing the vendors and the tuck shops, but they came into my private yard. If we had to use violence, and they still used violence on us, they want to threaten to hit us. They said they're coming back in half an hour. If it's not down, they're hitting us. I mean, what is that? Where do we go to from here? We don't know what to expect after this. They take it now, they're going to be coming to take our homes.
Government is
Where do we go to from here? Huh? Our government has made us feel now that we are insecure Zimbabweans. That's what we are. That's how we feel. Everybody now just feels like selling their property and going, because as far as we are concerned, we're not even proud to say that we are Zimbabweans. And tomorrow they say you can't speak freely because you get locked up. I've got children. I've worked for this place. Tomorrow they'll walk in and take my house. They'll kill my children in front of me. We can expect anything now, because I mean we just got a shock to think they can actually intervene in our privacies. What we thought the cleanup was about was tuck shops and flea markets and vending. We didn't expect them to come into our private affairs. Okay, fair enough, they say the judo wall is illegal destruction or whatever, but I had plans. It's just that they didn't stamp my plans, and I can show anybody my plans. I've got my title deeds and everything. I mean, now from here, where do we go to? I mean, everybody is shocked, absolutely shocked. They say in Murambatsvina they're cleaning it, but they have left everybody homeless, because now nobody knows where they're going to from here. People have been sleeping outside for days since this has been taken place, you know. So we had to actually chase people that were paying their rent and all to make us go in, because where is my children going to go to? This is their home. I have built and worked hard for this home. And that is why I try to put back cottages to think my children will be comfortable. I've got plans to extend it, and I thought by the time I do get money, then I can really extend it, and that would be the case. But now I got a phone call. Actually, I'm in Bulawayo now. My son is looking after me because I'm unemployed. My husband died. I'm a widow. This is why I'm building out buildings, because that is my income. Now I don't know where do I go from here. There's my little grandchild, as I explained to you people. There's nowhere where she's going to go to. If it wasn't through this house, now we've got it all squashed. Next thing they say, they're coming around to see how many people are living in our home. They've made us homeless, so if we are overcrowded, it's because of them. Now they said when you're overcrowded, you're going to lose your home, they're going to close your home. What next do we expect? That's what I would like to know. What do we expect? If you talk freely, they lock you up. You don't know what to do. And you see, that's the thing. I've got a lot of things that I could say, but I am also afraid, because this has shocked me, as to think that they just come and take my home. Huh? Now you're landing up with nothing, after I've worked hard for this home. So I don't know, where do we go through here, and who do we really contact, and what do we do, because we are just waiting now to see what's the next step. And the next step is just maybe closing our homes, taking our homes. A lot of Zimbabweans just feel like selling their property and going, but where do we go to? Where? We are rejected all over. Where do we go to? If we go there, we're getting chased. We come here, we're getting chased. Now, I don't feel that I am a Zimbabwean, because I'm a true born Zimbabwean, but they have destroyed my home. They've destroyed my children's home. Where do we go to?
They're all outside. That's what I think needed to be reported. That's our furniture, hard work.
There's a lot of things that are even broken. Valuable things are broken. TVs are broken, whatever. Clothing is lost because we had to come out.
It's terrible, eh?
It's terrible. All this furniture, we got nowhere to put it. What if it rains now? All the things are damaged. You see, look, all this is people that were staying here. They had to run for cover because there's nowhere to go. If you see in my house how overcrowded the things are with furniture. As I feel that, I mean, being a Zimbabwe, I'm not proud of Zimbabwe anymore because what are we getting? Where are we going to from here? I don't mind talking, but I know they're going to put me in prison or whatever for the truth. But the truth is the truth.
We've done our little tour, and just to fill you in a bit on what actually happened, there were a lot of homes that we visited, and quite a few people, quite a number of people refused to actually talk. They refused to have their properties filmed, and we must respect that. We have to respect that. A lot of them were simply afraid. They were afraid to actually speak out and share their experiences with us. Okay, which is very sad. However, the evidence is here on tape, and we trust that some form of compensation and assistance and support can be given to the very brave people, especially those that spoke and were seen live on camera. There were those that did speak, and they didn't want their faces to be seen, but their voices have been heard. Arcadia Residents Association, on behalf of the residents of Arcadia, do deserve your assistance. And I trust that this plea from them is heard internationally, and that they are not left to fend for themselves under very desperate and dire circumstances. Thank you.
Can see that we have spoken to a couple of people who were affected by this restore order and clean-up campaign by government. We have also heard what the people themselves have to say about it, because we believe that the action taken by government and police was so brutal. It has left people traumatized, shocked, homeless, displaced within the urban settings. We also have to consider that the rights of the people have been violated and abused by government's action and by the police force, because a lot of force and disrespect by the way the police undertook the operation was something which was very unexpected, and we must also consider the children, young mothers, and the situation they are now in, that they have got no other home to go to because of the housing policy here was not fully undertaken by government to see that there's adequate housing provided for people in this country, or even in the city of Harare. There we blame that the housing policy was not fully implemented, it was mismanaged, and that is not the people's fault. Because over the past 25 years, most of the time government took many policies into action without proper management systems to see that there's adequate housing, adequate sewage, adequate water supplies, adequate health. Because now every day in Zimbabwe, there's inadequate delivery systems, and nothing is quite working in the way it should, and people feel insecure, threatened, afraid. They fear the next form of action government will take. And when you consider us colored people, mixed race people in this country, as a minority, we are a very small percentage of the population, and where do we stand in this whole scenario here that has just come upon us like a shock wind, like a tornado? Nothing has happened in the last 25 years that has really shaken the community, as this operation has. So people are afraid and insecure. People want to leave this country now. There's so much suffering. There's unemployment. There's economic crisis in the country. There's fuel crisis. The whole country is under a continuous crisis that we as a people have no way really to turn to and say, what can we do? The only alternative we have is to find refuge somewhere else, to leave this country, because we feel unsafe, insecure. We have seen the situations in Africa, what has happened. And through those lessons, we take in consideration that our lives will be in danger, our children will be in danger, and our entire families. And our only alternative now is to say, get up and leave. Thank you.
Just a final few words. It is not true to say that every Zimbabwean has an alternative home to go to. Without going into the historical background of colonialism and its impact on the colored mixed race population of Zimbabwe, suffice to say that colored people are an urban minority. By and large, we do not have rural homes to go to, unlike what government is saying when they undertook this operation of drive out the filth, Operation Restore Order. Our homes are in the city. They have been destroyed, making us ever more homeless and more impoverished. Thank you.